It's time for American Brain and Brawn, starring John Brenkus and Lacey Evans.
Boy, how? Oh!
Freshly
Look
shaved.
at this. Look at this. Do you know the best thing about our opening animation is that I look super skinny in it. That's what I like about it.
I mean, I was going to say that I'm in it, but, you know, whatever.
All right, the second best thing about our opening animation is that I look skinny in it.
There you go.
That's what I think. So last week, Lacey, I know you have me on a short leash, and I know I done wrong. I know, and I have fessed up. And now listen, from every challenging situation, goodness emerges.
Yeah.
And out of this situation, you were looking for potential replacement hosts. Now, whether or not you replace me permanently is yet to be determined. But we met one of our listeners who is a rock star in life, Ozzie Martinez. Do you remember all about Ozzie?
Yeah, who? Me? Of course I do. And now is your redemption, John, because not only is this motivator a veteran from the United States Marine Corps, he has a nonprofit organization to help those suffering from mental disorders, PTSD. He is a father. He is a overall motivator. And I have done a lot of research about this motivator, and you guys both have a lot in common that through connections can help even more people. So John, that tight leash may get a little longer if you freaking get your head out of your, Herbert, can you do beep? If you get your head out of your, waiting on you, Herbert, and actually.
Herbert, why aren't you doing it yet? He doesn't have that at the ready.
Well, that's all right. But what I'm saying is redemption, John. So let's introduce him and let's all start working together because this man is incredible. This veteran is incredible. And believe it or not, I don't know how I'm saying this without vomiting. He has something in common with you, John, that is even more empowering if you put them together. So with that being said, get ready to actually do your job and do good for the world. You nasty.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to get ready to do my job. Anybody who has a question out there, drop it into one of the chat rooms. We'll be monitoring it. Without further ado, we want to bring on our amazing special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Ozzie Martinez. Martinez. That's a little bit of reverb and echo for
Lord,
you. There you go. Boom. Look at that. We're all at the gun show.
Yeah. Thank you so
How
much
are you doing, Ozzie?
I'm doing great. How are you all doing?
Very good.
Man.
Welcome to the show. And thank you so much for coming back. I know last week, for all of you who was watching, I was kind of inviting fans on, those with backbones, which apparently there was only 2 of you nasties out there. But I'm so glad that this one did have a backbone because he came on. Me and John learned a lot about him, and we realized that, you know what, there might be not only some motivation and empowering, uplifting stuff that he could bring to the table for all of you out there who need it, but John can get his redemption back because as you guys will learn through listening to today, there's going to be a lot of empowering stuff. Mental health. It doesn't matter if you're a veteran. It doesn't matter what you're going through, what you've been through. This man has a couple keys a lot of you can use. And we actually have some ideas after we all 3 talk that we can actually go forward and further with what all 3 of us stand for. So if you guys are just tuning in, listen, because not only has our guest been through hell and back, he refuses to give up and is trying to help others help themselves. So Ozzie, me and John want to thank you so much for coming back out.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Lacey.
you. And
Thank
first
you,
of all, thank you so much for your service and your dedication. And thanks so much for carrying that spirit of serving your country into life outside of the military. Tell us all about your backstory and how you founded your charity, because we were chatting before the show, and it is just an incredible, awe-inspiring story.
Well, as Lacey knows, our motto is Semper Fidelis, meaning always faithful. And that doesn't end when you get out of the Marine Corps, just like my title, United States Marine, doesn't end when I get out of the Marine Corps. So as an NCO, you have that that trait in you that you want to take care of your Marines all the time, and you end up not taking care of yourself. Well, when I got out of the Marine Corps, that's what happened. I didn't take care of myself, and I ended up hitting rock bottom. I wasn't able to. I thought I could join the what I call the treadmill of life back down here in Miami, and it was honestly impossible. Miami is a fast-paced life. I had just come back from 2 combat tours in Iraq. 2004 Fallujah, if anybody knows, was the varsity of all varsity games, is like what we like to call it. And then 2005, I went back out again on the 13th MU, and both times I lost significant amount of Marines in my unit. And when I came back, I didn't come back the same. I came back to Miami. Miami didn't understand me. I felt my family didn't understand me. My friends, my close friends that are now, still, one of them is still my friends for over 25 years now, but he had a hard time understanding me. And, I would look on social media trying to look for help from the individuals I served with, thinking, man, maybe they're in the same position I am. And I would just see how great their life is, what I call now Fakebook, Facebook. And I would just see how great their life is. And I 100% then felt I am alone. Nobody understands me. I can't offload these demons I have in my head. I mean, because it was 2:00 in the afternoon, and I would be on a day triggering me, or something had triggered me. And I would, down a bottle of Johnny Walker or of whiskey, and it was getting bad. And at the time, my wife had just had a baby. He was 6 months old. And honestly, she said, I can't do this anymore. I can't take care of our child and take care of another child, and she met me, and right. Even I left. So that's when my life turned and I hit rock bottom. I started, abusing. I have a friend of mine named Jason Redmond. If anybody knows him, he's a 21-year retired Navy SEAL. He's my mentor. He's my brother. He was shot 7 times, to include the face, and he developed this mindset called the overcome mindset. And Jay was able to help me out a lot when it came to getting off the X, is what he calls it, right? And that's what I ended up learning afterwards. But I ended up, like I said, looking on Facebook. I couldn't find the help that I thought from the guys I served with until I went to a 10-year reunion. And when I went to this 10-year reunion, I was talking to some friends of ours that I had served with, and I finally brought up the question, and I was like, hey, does anybody here ever just want to, off themselves, And it got quiet around the fire pit. You could hear the fire cracking, and I asked it again. And when I asked, I was more specific, and I was like, does anybody here just ever just want to die or just end their life, man? And, one of them was like, hey, Martini, dude, I've tasted my barrel multiple times. And I say it to this day when I do public speaking. I felt like I had an elephant on my back and my chest. They both got up, and I took my first fresh breath of air. And I knew I wasn't alone. And that changed my life. I came back from that reunion. That was a 10-year reunion, so that was September 2014. My wife and I got back together in November of 2014 after going to therapy for like almost every week. We were going twice a week. And understanding what my breakthrough was, because I didn't understand why I felt so like I was fixed. I didn't feel alone anymore, and I felt like happy again. I wasn't in a dark place anymore. So finally, When I learned that it was the reunion that helped, I was back home in Miami, and I was like, how do I mimic a 1-week reunion? And fishing with my best friend, Todd, we're fishing every day, and I mean, it hits me one day, and we weren't catching any fish that day, and I was like, this is it. And he was like, what, you're on? And I was like, no, on the back of the boat. I could start an organization in the back of the boat, and we could take veterans fishing, and I could reunite them for 8 to 10 hours. It's not a week, but in 8 to 10 hours of us not going anywhere and being on the 30-foot boat together, we got to talk, or at least you're going to hear me talk. And he was like, yeah, I think you got a good idea. And I think, my sister-in-law, I texted her, I was like, this is an idea, because, she was helping me at the time. And she's like, how about WebVet? And I'm like, no, that sounds like, a veterinarian for a fish or something like that. How about Operation WebVet? That way people know it's military themed. And from there, it just spiraled down. And I waited till June 1st of 2015 to start Operation WebVet, because June is PTSD Awareness Month. So I waited till June 1st to incorporate in the state of Florida. That way, June 1st is the birthday of Operation WebVet. And since June 1st of 2015, it's been as I mean, it's mom and pop, it's myself and a few other volunteers. Nobody takes a salary. I am 100% disabled, so I live off my disability. I was blessed in life where my father-in-law, did purchase our home for us and gave it to us as a gift, where I don't have to, pay a mortgage like other individuals, and I could live off my disability very well. And why not pay it forward? And once I found out that, that I could take individuals fishing, and we're taking, two things are happening from it. They're leaving from there we do fire teams is what we do. So 4 or 5 individuals get chosen, preferably that have served together. And that way they can relate in every aspect of what they've witnessed, not somebody that had maybe not deployed or had not had as many combat missions, or somebody that has, that hadn't. So we want like-minded individuals to be able to leave from there with what we call battle buddies, that they could leave from there and call at any time. Because those people from that reunion, I'm a lot closer than the whole 200 that I served with.
That's amazing. Lacey, I mean, here is, Ozzy is such a true patriot and just a courageous human being, taking something like PTSD and depression and feeling like you are at the lowest of lows. I can tell you, I mean, I don't know how many people in our audience have ever felt low like you felt, but I tell you, everybody has their own relative low. And sometimes that darkness is so black, it's a black hole. You can't see any light. And for you to be able to muscle your way through it and not only come through it, but stronger than ever, and now giving back to other people, that, when I say that's the American spirit, that is, like you said, paying it forward, that's love. That is literally love. You had the love of the universe raining down on you, and you're giving it back to people who are in desperate need. I can't thank you enough for what you're doing. And Lacey, I'm a massive fan of scuba diving, spearfishing. We got to figure out a way that somehow I can get involved, or you can get involved, or we can get involved with this incredible new charity.
When I found out his mission, go ahead, Ozzy.
I think, John, if you get involved, this could be a lifesaver for you to possibly keep your position here, all right, and win some brownie points with Lacey. And I'm not trying to help you, to be honest, but obviously this is a hint.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know Ozzy would be more than willing to be my co-host. But when I found out his mission and what he was doing, immediately I thought of you, John, because I do know your scuba diving, your training, and then I was thinking of me. I love fishing, and I'm a Southern girl from way back, and probably can outfish all of you nasty things. So why not? Definitely, we are going to plan some stuff, ways to help, ways that we could get this out there on a big platform as much as we possibly can, because Ozzy, what you do is incredible. And 2 things that you mentioned during that whole spew of you talking was, one, the fact that the Fakebook, I think you called it, it's not Facebook, it's Fakebook, because it is so not the case. You see, I don't know, have y'all ever seen that apple that looks perfect, but you could see its reflection in the mirror and it's half gone and eaten and bruised?
Mm-hmm.
That is life. Every one of us, you can go on Lacey Evans' social media right now and see my beautiful baby and my physique and my spray tan and my nails. But what you don't see is the pain that I go through every day as a mother, as a wife, as somebody, as a veteran, as somebody who's struggling, just trying their best to get by and keep up with who I'm supposed to be and who I need to be. And it's my job and it's what I do, and I do the best I can. But the fact that that was your starting point, that you were looking at this fake book, and seeing these lives and questioning, what am I doing in mine? Why am I not happy? Why am I sitting here drinking alcohol at 2:30, 3 in the afternoon? And I'm looking at the people that I served with, the people I went to high school with, and their beautiful families are out by the barbecue. Well, let me tell you something, Ozzy, and you know this because that's how you found out the first step of fixing what problem you were in. It's fake. I'm not saying that barbecue is fake, but what it's portraying as just 100% happiness. Everybody is struggling and going through something at different rates in their life. And the fact that not only you realize, look, I'm holding a bottle at 2:30. I need to fix it. I need to do something. And then the second thing, Ozzy, that you did was spoke up. It is so hard to look at those Fakebook people, and some of them are strong and they're smiling and happy with their beers and collared shirts, and everything is just honky-dory with their bonfire crackling, and here you are and what you said. Does anybody around me ever feel like they want to end it? And that uncomfortable, eerie feeling that they all must have had, but all it took was one other person going through hell to be like, you are not alone, for you to be like, you know what? I've known it all along. I've watched it. I've seen it, and I'm not alone. And all of a sudden, you are making such a big difference on millions of Americans' lives, soon to be millions, because we're going to get this out there. Like, this is life. And PTSD, Ozzy, you can agree to disagree. What is your opinion? It doesn't just stop with veterans. I mean, not just, and that's something as a veteran, I know that so many people assume that PTSD is a veteran mental disability.
No, that's why I started my podcast, Post-Traumatic Survival. In my podcast, Post-Traumatic Survival, I started that when COVID kicked in, because I knew people needed something to listen. Because what really got me, being 100% disabled, not having a job or anything, I'm 38 now, but I got retired from the VA or given the disability permanent and total in 2008. So 10 years ago, when I was 28 years old. So more than that, actually, 26 years old. And it was gut-wrenching for me. All I did was sit at home. So sitting at home was my devastation, because all I had to do was look on social media to see how other people were doing, instead of keeping myself busy. And, you know, it was incredible what I felt the first couple weeks of COVID, because when everybody was at home, my family, and the depression started kicking in, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I went out, bought this microphone you see, which is a pretty expensive microphone, did my research, bought the right gear, and I started my podcast, Post-Traumatic Survival. And I have 19 episodes I've released since February 11th. And I've interviewed sex trafficking victims, a young lady that she was sex trafficked for 2 years, gave birth to a child that she doesn't know who the father is. Then the guy that was sex trafficking her tried killing her, didn't succeed. She became quadriplegic, but she didn't give up in life. She didn't give up with her PTSD. She is now a 2-time author. She's written 2 books, all right, that she published herself. She's working on her 3rd, and she's a sex trafficking advocate. I've interviewed a rape victim that had her legs cut off by a train, because after they drugged her and raped her, they threw her in a train track to leave her for dead, but the train conductor stopped and was able to help her, but she lost her legs. That young lady is a mountaineer. She climbs mountains without her legs. So how are individuals doing this? And that's the purpose behind post-traumatic survival, is that we hit rock bottom with everybody: veterans, firefighters, police officers, regular individuals, moms, women that have hit rock bottom. And how is it that they've now turned their life up and are now publishers, directors, CEOs, whatever it is that they are? How are they doing it?
Here is something that I want people to understand. First of all, we have to get this message out, because this obviously goes far beyond just veterans. You know, give us a thumbs up, give us a like on Facebook, YouTube. Make sure that this message gets out. But Ozzy, here's one thing that I do know: that darkness in when someone becomes so depressed, when you're caught in the darkness, it's created by thought loops, and it's a loop that literally is a physical condition. It's an uncontrollable thought that everything you see somehow falls into that rut in your brain, and you just think the same thing. You imagine yourself killing yourself. You think about it all the time. You wonder about it, and no matter if it's the best news, worst news, it all goes into that same loop. How did you find yourself able to break that loop?
To be honest, it would have to be with the mentorship that I've had. You've heard me spoke about him already, Jason Redman, and that's what I was trying to say. That I kind of got sidetracked at first. That you could read my story in his book, Overcome, and it's what he's developed is called the Overcome mindset. Like I said, he was shot 7 times as he was trying to take out the #1 Al Qaeda leader in Iraq. Him and his SEAL team in September 13, 2007, and he got shot 7 times, to include on his right side of his face, blew the front out, We joke because we tell him, dude, you took a 7.62 to the face and you're still alive. So he's a pretty tough guy. And but he's developed this overcome mindset that what you need to understand is there's this thing called the X. Lacey will understand because she was trained like this. The X is the ambush site, the site that you're standing on when you are being ambushed. Okay. So now in combat, we only got one target, one enemy we're dealing with when we're ambushed. So it's very easy for us to be trained and deal with that. I'm realizing a lot of veterans are struggling when we get out and don't know how to deal with what we call life ambushes. As soon as life throws us an ambush, like, for instance, I'll give my current one in my family. My stepfather, that I'm 38, my stepfather's 57. He just got diagnosed with stage 3 pancreatic cancer. That's a life ambush for my family. If we stay on this X right now, life doesn't care. Life isn't like combat. Life doesn't care that you're standing on one X. It's going to throw another X your way and another X your way and another X, another life ambush and life ambush. And it could be now my wife will get sick or my dog will die. And like, how am I dealing with all of this now? It starts feeling like you're drowning and drowning and drowning. Well, the overcome mindset, what it does is it develops you. It makes you get off the X. That is our motto, to get off the X. Okay. And there's like little things that we do. I'm trying to look up the graphic for you right now here. Give me a second here. Little things that we do in the overcome mindset that help us. And they're little acronyms that, you know, Lacey will laugh because it's military-ish, you know, it's things that help us out, you know, like, but my favorite one is this one right here. I'm going to share with you right now. It's react. All right. And when you react, it's the word react. So the R means recognize your reality. All right. E is evaluate your position. A is assess your possible exit routes. C, choose a direction and communicate it. And T is take action. I've learned this overcome mindset so much that all this becomes muscle memory now. And if I can accustom myself to when my mom called and said, you know, your stepfather Mike has just been diagnosed with this. I've been helping my mom get off the sex right now because my mom started crying for 3 days. And I said, you can't do this anymore, Mom, because now when they give you even worse news that maybe the chemo didn't work or something like that, you're the one that's going to be dying on me, you know? So we need to move on because you need to be strong for him. So what do we need to do right now? We need to get off of this and start finding these exit routes. Start evaluating the position. What do we need from him? We need surgery. We need to get treatments for him. And he's up there in Georgia. They live up there in Georgia, and I think it's Noonan, Georgia. And luckily, they're by like the cancer center. So she started getting all that. But you know, if she would have just stayed on that X, like I said, you start feeling the world is just drowning on you. And that's what I did. I just, through his guidance, I've developed what we call the overcome mindset, to the point where he wanted to share my story in his book. And he now asked me to be a coach and mentor in his program. So we have about 70 individuals that we coach on a monthly basis. And, you know, we help these individuals overcome life adversities. And once it was broken down that I could treat it like combat, and, you know, because in combat, you don't want to stand there and fight. You don't want to fight in an ambush site. You want to get off of the X, turn around, regroup, and then come back and take out the enemy. But in life, for some reason, when we get stuck on these life ambushes, we want to stand there and fight that position. And we can't. We need to move on.
Lacey, what I got to do is I have to tell you, I've been blessed being able to scuba dive all over the world. When I tell you it's a genuine passion of mine, I love to scuba dive and I love to spearfish. And down on the panhandle of Florida and in all of Florida, you can scuba dive and spearfish at the same time. And it's truly just incredibly exhilarating and life-changing. We got to figure out a way that we take a trip, Lacey, because it's not far from you and it's not far from me. Maybe we can all meet up at the panhandle, go out and have a scuba trip, spearfishing trip, and, start a new chapter of Operation WebVet.
That would be amazing.
And you know some contacts up there, right, John? So it'll be no problem to get us all up there. Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody, if anybody goes to the Panhandle and likes to go scuba diving, there's a great shop called Divers Den, DEN, and they employ a lot of military vets. Go out there if you're a scuba diver, a spear fisherman, have anything to do with the water out on the Panhandle of Florida. look up Divers Den. They are an incredible shop. But we're going to have to organize a trip, Ozzy, honestly, and figure out a way to start a chapter up here, because I think you got things under control down where you are. And Lacey and I are not far away from the water. We could go. I mean, Lacey, how far away are you from the ocean right now? I mean, you're on the coast of South Carolina.
I could run in my backyard and start crabbing and shrimping and do it all the time.
We did a huge fishing trip in May out of Charleston.
Yeah, and you didn't call me, you nasty thing. I would have been up there with my water boots on.
Way to go, Ozzy.
Fisher from way back,
that
honey.
Was May of 2018, though, so it was 2 years.
Come on. I mean, I was here.
Okay, you're right. You're
Yeah.
making me red. Nice.
Well, listen, Ozzy, we thank you so much for your service. Thank you so much for Operation WebVet. Lacey and I, absolutely, we will support you any way that we can. Let's make sure that tell everybody how to find your radio show and on Sirius XM and podcast and everything.
Which I will be a guest of very soon. So all you nasty things, American Brain and Brawn will actually be a guest on.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead and give us the information so that way they can come listen to us run our mouth.
So yeah, we're on Sirius XM. I'm on Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Sirius XM 470. Basis of my morning show is just to talk about, give you a positive mindset as you're starting your morning. So I will talk about either little coping mechanisms. I will have guests on there like Jason Redman, people like Lacey, amazing minds that I will ask. And like how I asked Dana Brooke when she was on there, I want to know what it is. How do you get your mindset before you get into the ring? And then what's your mindset when you get out of the ring? I want to know what people's mindset are, because if you can relate to a superstar and say, wow, she has the same struggles that I have getting to work or whatever, you just made a connection that you didn't think was possible with somebody, and you just brought somebody out of that darkness.
Absolutely.
That's right. I mean, all I know is
Sirius XM 2 Box 470, or you could go to the 2 Box TV app and you could catch me on there. The podcast is called the Post Traumatic Survival Podcast.
Okay, and your Instagram? Go ahead and
my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything is at Ozzie Martinez Jr., exactly how you saw my name down there, at Ozzie Martinez Jr. You can find me there, and it's at Operation WebVet for the organization as well.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right, well, listen,
so
thank you so much, Ozzy. Thank you so much. We will support you. We'll be listening. We'll definitely be in touch, and we're gonna plan a trip real soon. So God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for not attacking me with a monkey there, John.
You know what? I can't do that. No monkey. If you're changing the world, you don't get monkeyed. It's a verb now. It's a verb. All right. Thanks, Ozzy. So listen, Lacey. Here's some thoughts I have. First of all, American Brain and Brawn is making a huge difference. That's what we set out to do. We actually have a massive audience today, which is incredible. People are really tuned into this topic, which is great. I think it might be time for us to start some merchandise, some American Brain and Brawn merchandise, and give back to veteran organizations. What do you think about that?
I love the idea. I actually have a few ideas of my own to put in there. I already have your face all sketched out. I can't wait for you to see it.
Oh my God. Is it just like one big round circle with like little beady eyes, big ears?
And a comb over and, with a beach scene behind it. Because you still have that same damn green screen, John.
Yeah. What do you want me? I can change the background for you. One thing that was interesting is Ozzy was talking about, he was just talking about, how much time it takes to get through the darkness and to persevere through that. I'll tell you, when you have somebody like him leading the way, it takes a lot less time.
Absolutely. And another thing too is like he was naming some incredible people that he has on his podcast, on his shows. And he also mentioned moms and just you don't have to get hit by a train for you to be going through a problem. Everybody's brain is different. And how people react to things are different. Yeah. What may rock you and make your whole day just unbearable, it could potentially not affect somebody else. So you're not to be judged on how you react to life's tough situations, or because what may affect me terribly may not bother you. Everybody's brain is different. But at the end of the day, like Ozzy was saying, there is so much that we could do within ourselves to pick ourselves up. I don't care how bad it knocks you down. I don't care how small the issue was that rocked you. Everybody reacts to different things different ways. But at the end of the day, you could pick yourself up, dust yourself off, take whatever, how many deep breaths and candles and color therapy, whatever it is, fishing trips, being around people during fire pits and talking about problems that are whatever you have to do, do it. Just don't sit there, like Ozzy was saying, at 2:30, continuing to drink alcohol because you feel like your life doesn't matter, because you feel like you've given up. Don't get to that point. Get off of Fakebook. Start communicating with others that are good. Everybody's suffering. Start working together. Love, compassion, kindness, and continue to push yourself in whatever way that you feel works for you. That's the beauty of it. Everybody's going through something. Just don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely. The idea that everybody's going through something, I find myself, I'm the elder statesman of the two of us. And the older that I get, the more empathetic I become. A lot of people will look at someone losing their mind, or somebody who's down on their luck, or somebody who's just genuinely, somebody who's out on the street. When you're young, a lot of people want to take that snap judgment and sort of cast dispersions upon another human being. And when you get older, like I am, and you look at that, you say, you know what? There were some dark days that led up to that. And there were some times where if that person just had the right hand, the right voice, the right friend, the right family member, they probably wouldn't have ended up like that. And that's the truth. And we need to recognize that our job is first and foremost to love ourselves, to get our affairs in order so that we can lift others up. That's our job in life. So we hope that, everybody takes Ozzy's words to heart and understand that darkness is not unique to being in the military. It happens to a lot of people all the time. So if you see somebody who's dark, somebody who they're just not right, they're not feeling right, they don't look right, try to cheer them up, try to lend them a hand, try to somehow offer them a bit of hope. One thing you can do is steer them to Ozzy's show, steer them to his website, give them resources to say, look, you're not alone.
And if you're the one that's in the dark, speak up. Who knows what would have happened to Ozzy if he wasn't sitting around that fire feeling like he was done with everything life. He had a child. You would think that being a father would have been enough to pull yourself up, but it's not sometimes. And because he spoke up, because he didn't sit there and allow this dark cloud to take over his life, literally, he spoke up. So if you know somebody who is going through it, grab their hand, use the kindness, compassion, and if you are the one going through it, speak up, accept it, acknowledge it, and find ways that you can get through it, because there are so much out there. There is doctors, medicine if you have to take it, therapy, counseling, watching American Brain and Brawn, just don't give up. People like Ozzy, listen to his podcast, SiriusXM, go to his shows and listen to these stories of these incredible humans that are not giving up regardless of what they're going through. You nasty things.
Yeah, you nasty things. All right, we're going out on top today. I don't think there's any more that we can do today. We've been preaching the gospel of Ozzy, making sure that everyone knows you're not alone. And listen, I know it's a strange time. God knows, we woke up this morning at 2 a.m. and then 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. And I found myself just anxious, and I can't imagine I'm alone. So I'm speaking up and I'm saying I'm anxious. My name is John Brenkus, and I've been anxious for the last 8 hours. So help me.
Lord help him. Keep your head up, John.
All right. God bless everyone. We will see you next week.
Bye, you nasties.